G'day there guys, no regrets, not even one letter. I've used that joke before but I don't care. Welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoy your stay here today. Please do smash that like button and enjoy the show. Thank you. Posted by user Whammin' titled, Would I be the a-hole if I take my coworker to HR for touching my car? Okay, so here's the story. When my old car broke down, my grandma gave me hers. It's a 2014 Honda Accord, and the thing has basically just been sitting in her garage for the past 5 years. It's in mint condition and has crazy low mileage. Now, my coworker, Louis, has always kind of given me the creeps. He's in his late 40s, but goes around hitting on all the girls in the office that are in their 20s. He just has this totally fake vibe about him. And I've just tried to stay as far away from him as I can. When I rolled up in my new car, he absolutely lost his mind. He starts asking me all the specs, details, other car stuff. Then he asks me if he can take it for a test drive. I tell him absolutely not. Honestly, who even asks that? Later, I come out and he's inspecting my car, running his hands all over it. I asked him what the hell he was doing, and he said he was just making sure I got a good buy. He then asks if I can let him inside so that he can see the interior. I said, and I quote, "Louis, no. Don't touch my car, don't look at my car, you are never going inside of it." Now, if it couldn't get any worse, he brought a bag of candies to work. He was trying to give some to me. I said no. When I got out of my car, he had taken them out of the packaging and laid them all over the hood of my frickin' car. Since it was hot, they got sticky. Edit to clarify, didn't fully melt but got really sticky and gross, and I had to take my car to the wash. I honestly feel like I'm in the frickin' Twilight Zone at this point. He came into my office this morning and started making more jokes about taking my car. I got up, without saying a word, and left my own office. Now I'm wondering, would I be the a-hole for taking this up with HR? Edit, and some clarifying information, this happened on work property. We have assigned spots, he is next to me. I didn't take any pictures of the candy, although I should have, and I have no clue how long it actually sat on my car for. But it wasn't really melted, just partially melted and a bit sticky. He went way too far when he put the candy on your car. I can understand not being willing to report someone for just touching your car because some people are just handsy and don't care like that. That's something I could put up with, but melting candy on the hood of your car pushes it too far for me. I'm surprised that he had to come into your office and start making jokes about, hey, what if I took your car for a ride? Ha ha ha, I know you've said no. I feel like in this situation your tolerance for what you can put up with is a bit too high OP, but that's absolutely fine. I feel like that's normal. I feel like we usually give people the benefit of the doubt, and in this situation he's pushed it way too far. You wouldn't be the a-hole for taking this up with HR, because what's he gonna do next? What potential damage is gonna come of his jealousy? Who's to say? We need some security footage on your car 24/7. Keep that man's away, slap him down and tell him to mind his own business. Leave me alone. In conclusion, not the a-hole. You would not be the a-hole. Very weird behavior over a 2014 Honda. They are everywhere. I see them daily. He's a creepy guy. Go to HR. Not the a-hole. From what you've described, touching your car is just the tip of the iceberg that is his creepy behavior. Not the a-hole, this is harassment. Maybe he doesn't realize how he's coming across, but a nice meeting with HR should do the trick. Don't just bring it up with HR, have this creep fired. Messing with your car is one thing, but if you get enough of the girls to confirm he's hit on them unwillingly and made them feel uncomfortable, that's sexual harassment and grounds for termination. Don't tolerate anything. The more you do, the more he feels empowered by it. Not the a-hole. I am so fudging tired of seeing women post to this sub asking if they would be the a-hole for reporting obviously crappy and predatory behavior from creepy-ass men. We are really good at protecting each other and encouraging each other to stand up for ourselves in these situations, but when it comes to our own selves being harassed, we feel guilty for wanting to make it stop. I am over it. F politeness. Update. I went to HR and asked them for advice to deal with the situation. Honestly, she wasn't very helpful and said I should just keep working as usual and try to ignore him. I think they went and talked to him though, because immediately after my meeting, he started avoiding me. This was until 2 weeks ago, when I gave my notice. They decided that Louis should be my replacement, despite having absolutely no experience in my department, which means I've spent the past 2 weeks training him. Honestly, there is no other way to describe the experience except as hell on earth. There's too much creepiness to even write about. He's engaged in full creep mode this whole time, making all sorts of inappropriate comments, touching me whenever he gets the chance, and literally sitting an inch away from me. And he doesn't take notes or anything about how to do the job. He just stares at me and tries to make conversation. You remember The Office when Toby touches Pam's knee? That happened the other day. When we were sitting at my desk and I was training him, he straight up touched my knee and held his hand on it as he was telling me how proud he was of me. It made me so uncomfortable, I got up and walked away. I tried talking to HR about it, and since I gave my notice, they have no interest in dealing with it. Yesterday was my last day, and I will never have to see Louis again. I'm so grateful for that, and for all of the advice that I've been given. Edit. I've been asked a few times why I stayed and went through with the training. My company gives out our yearly bonus at the beginning of September. They said they would still give it to me if I agreed to stay and train. I'm quitting my job to go back to school, so I was very financially motivated to just deal with it. And edit 2, I've got a few more questions, so here it goes. I've already received the bonus and my final paycheck. Everything is in order. I won't name the company because I don't want this story coming back to me. I already think I've posted too much. Shimmering Nothing says, a tip I once read is to always ask HR to give you their verdict in writing. When they know you can potentially hold their decision against them and that they are giving you written proof, they tend to be a lot more careful about dismissing things like sexual harassment. I've never done this, so I can't vouch for it personally, but I thought it sounded like a smart move. Because really, what are they going to write? X came to us with claims of inappropriate behavior from Y, but since X is leaving, there is no need to follow this up despite the fact that Y is staying? ? And OP replies, as I mentioned in my post, I tried to bring it to HR. They wouldn't even want to speak with me since I was leaving. Screw HR. Tell every woman in the office that he's ever shown interest in to stay away. Don't write it down as he could fight it for slander and defamation, just let that gossip ride like the wind. My last day was yesterday. Everyone knows he's a creep. All the other girls were talking to me and complaining that he's taking over my job. They don't want to work with him. Depending on your laws, you could possibly make a statutory declaration so you have your own file and complaint against him. If you have the receipt from the car wash, keep that. And if you have it, take a photo and photocopy as the ink is designed to fade. That guy is going to keep making women feel violated, especially when HR says the solution is to avoid him. How can you do that when they're making you train him? Thanks for the comment, baby, lol. As mentioned, this guy is literally the world's biggest dick. He doesn't have any of the skills required for the job or any experience. I think the company just hates me. Quit on the spot. You don't have to give notice, and it's clear this company doesn't value you and probably won't give you a glowing referral anyways. Edit. Also follow up with your local labor board / whomever does that and get your letter / right to sue. And OP replies, my company gives out a yearly bonus at the beginning of September. I don't know why exactly. They said they would still give it to me if I agreed to stay and train. It's a lot of money and very hard to pass up. Regardless, yesterday was my last day, so I'm done now. Posted by user advice_A. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting to participate in my niece's wedding after she excluded my daughter? So mine and my sister's families are very close. Our kids are more like siblings than cousins. My eldest niece got engaged, and we were all thrilled for her. My daughter and I spent hours on the phone with her, helping her with early wedding planning. My niece even mentioned to my daughter that she was having a hard time finding enough bridesmaids because many of her friends are pregnant. Then we all started finding out who my niece had chosen to be in the wedding party. Everyone in the family was included except for my daughter. My niece asked me and her 2 sisters to be bridesmaids, asked my son to be a groomsman, included her parents of course, and even asked my ex, who has been estranged from my side of the family since the divorce, to be the usher. She made a wedding website with photos and descriptions of all the people in the wedding party. My daughter is the only one not on there. My niece didn't directly tell my daughter that she wasn't included. Instead, she created a text group with all of the women in our families except for my daughter to plan the hair, makeup, etc. for the day of. My daughter was with me and my other nieces when we got the text, and didn't have her phone on her, so she assumed that she was included as well. Turns out she wasn't. When I reached out to my niece for clarification, she stated that my daughter was not going to be included. When I asked her if my daughter could at least get ready alongside us in the bridal suite, doing her own hair and makeup, my niece said no. Her exact words were, "There won't be any room for her." My daughter is understandably crushed and has no idea why she would be the only one not included. When she and my niece finally spoke about it, my niece wouldn't explain why she had done this or apologize. Her only words were, "It was my decision to make. I'm sorry that you feel upset about it. I hope you can get over it." I never saw my niece as a mean person, but I am questioning my view of her now. I don't want to participate in a wedding where my daughter has been singled out and excluded for no real reason. I can't think of anything my daughter could have done to offend my niece. It seems that my niece can't come up with a single reason for excluding her either. When my niece asked to be a bridesmaid, I didn't know that she was planning on asking everyone else in the family except for my daughter. I wouldn't have accepted it if I had known this. Am I the a-hole if I tell my niece that I won't be able to fulfill my commitment as a bridesmaid and just attend as a guest? I've already posed this with my daughter, and she thinks that me and her brother should both still participate because she doesn't want to be blamed for our dropping out. If I do decide not to participate, I will be making it clear to my niece that it was 100% my decision to drop out because I feel personally disrespected that she would treat my daughter this way. I'm torn on how to handle it. And edit, my daughter is 22 and my niece is 34. Yeah, I don't think you can just not participate and then have your daughter not be blamed for it. I feel like they're going to put 2 and 2 together regardless. So I guess your daughter is in a rock and a hard place for this one. Unless you are not giving us 100% of the story and your history with them, this is a random decision made by this woman at the wedding. She's welcome to do it, but wow, I wouldn't want to be left out like that if I was family. That is a punch in the gut right there. Very, very questionable decisions going on right here. I don't think you'd be the a-hole if you dropped out of this. It's a peaceful way to bow out without causing disruptions, arguments, or fights within the family. I respect that decision, and I respect what you do either way. Not the a-hole, and you would not be the a-hole. Marianne's Hammock says, "Not the a-hole at all. The fact you are included pushes it there for me. If your whole fam had just been guests, I'd say, just go, but don't kill yourself getting a great gift. But this is a ridiculously strange omission. The fact both you and your daughter spoke to the bride means you are very reasonable. I'd be very uncomfortable in your position and would bow out. Is your niece jealous of your daughter? Niece's actions are way off on this. From the edit, it seems that the daughter was way younger than the niece, so it's probably insecurities that make her think the daughter is going to attract attention away from her, or fearing that her future spouse may leave her or cheat on her with the daughter. Or maybe she just doesn't see her as a close friend. You're making some strange leaps. So does every family member she knows need to be a close friend to be invited? Like, her mother probably wasn't, but still got invited. No a-holes here. Although I do think it's strange that the bride chose her 50-year-old aunt to be a bridesmaid while excluding her much closer in age cousin. Is your daughter even invited to the wedding as a guest? And I think that was answered as a yes. It's even stranger that she asked for OP's ex, in my opinion. Right. Super weird and won't give a reason. OP was probably only included because she gets crap done. Not the a-hole OP, but if you do stay in the wedding, make it the last thing you ever do for your niece. She is a petty little a-hole. Updates. Hey everyone, this is the daughter writing the updates. My mum didn't know how to do an update post and asked me to write it for her. We are both here to respond to comments if you have any. I saw that a few people asked what my aunt's opinion was after the verdict was given on this post. Here is the answer to that question. My aunt said that she had told my cousin from the beginning that excluding me was going to hurt my feelings, and suggested to her that I be a bridesmaid instead of my mother. My cousin turned down the suggestion, but would not say why. I also saw some people wondering if something had gone down between my cousin and I that I wasn't telling my mum. This is definitely a valid question. The answer is no. She and I haven't had any problems prior to this, that I know of at least. She has always been like a sister to me. If she ever had a problem with me or anything I've done, I would hope she would tell me. Another question I saw was about my relationship with my father. He and I have a very tense relationship, due largely to some mental health problems that he has. Prior to all of this, I had confided in my cousin a lot about this. This made her decision to include him over me hurtful in a very poignant way. After reading all of your comments and some more deliberation, my mum ended up staying in the wedding party. I appreciate her desire to stand up for me, but I really did want my cousin's wedding to go smoothly, despite my feelings being very hurt. My mum respected my wishes. She's an amazing mom all around, and I'm lucky to have her in my corner. After the conversation I had with my cousin, described in the last post, I was on the fence about attending the wedding. I then heard from other relatives that she was concerned that I would sabotage the wedding if I were to attend. I found this comment to be bizarre and confusing. At this point, I decided that it would be best to remove myself from the situation entirely. I told her that I wouldn't be attending, and I left it at that. It was a hard decision to make, but your reactions to the original post made me feel more confident in my choice. The wedding did end up going smoothly. I heard from multiple sources that there was plenty of extra room in the bridal suite. I wish I could have been there with my family to support her on her big day. She and I have both been a part of each other's major life milestones for as long as I can remember. I still haven't figured out why I was the only one excluded, but I have come to the conclusion that she and I must not be as close as I had always thought we were. At this point, I'm not sure that I want to be. Your feedback on the original post played a large part in me realizing that. Thanks to everyone for reading and for all your responses. We got great insight from everyone who commented, especially those with different perspectives from our own. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to comment. Ronnie James Devo asks, Info. Hey OP, you're going to get deluged because this was a fascinating post. So in light of this weird turn of events, is there any of your cousin's behaviors in hindsight that have any hint of her being a jerk throughout your relationship? Do relatives have any theories? I can't imagine this not being a hot family gossip, and honestly, far more distracting than you as a bridesmaid ever would have been. Honestly, yes. I have gradually seen her becoming more self-centered and materialistic over the years, but have tried to ignore it because I didn't want to see her that way. I can think of a few examples. The past few holidays that she has come to visit my family, she lives out of state, she's gone out of her way to make a schedule of who is invited to see her, when, and what they are doing. I see this as very self-centered, and it has rubbed me the wrong way, but I mostly just tried to let it go. I also asked her to look over my personal statement for my application to graduate school a few years ago because I looked up to her tremendously and wanted her input. She said she would do it, but then put it off and made excuses until I finally submitted it without her input. She's a very organized person, and that was not characteristic of her. I let that go as well and tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. As for this situation, my family is generally confused and feels that she owes me an apology. No one really understands what she was thinking. Does she value her education quite a bit? I have a cousin who changed her name on Facebook to the initials of the various master's degrees that she has because she is, well, a little pretentious. She didn't seem to want much to do with me shortly after I started pursuing a doctoral program, and I was the first in my family to do so. I don't want to be petty, but I feel like she maybe thought that I upstaged her by getting a higher degree. That could have been the start of your cousin's jealousy. Also, you being younger and prettier would only add to her feelings of jealousy. She was the first in our family to get her bachelor's. Part of me wonders if she may resent no longer being the most educated in the family. That's not the kind of thing that matters to me. I pursued an education in my field because I'm passionate about working with children, not for the title. But I know what matters to her. I guarantee you her husband thinks you are hot. That's the only thing that makes sense if everything you're saying is true, so I'm curious. How's your relationship with him? Like, is he close to your age? Do y'all have a past? Does he act weird around you? That's the only reason I can think of that would make a chick act like that out of the blue. He and I have a good relationship. Not super close, but we're always friendly and laugh and joke around when we see each other. He's a really nice guy. We have no past, and I've been with my boyfriend longer than my cousin's husband has been around. This was the first thing that came to mind. If she's crappy enough to treat you like that, then you know the reason has to be some crazy insecurity. I'd be willing to bet that you are prettier and a generally more liked person. Sorry you had to deal with that. Will you invite your cousin when you get married? The answer better be a resounding F no. Not sure if there will be room for her. Can't be sure whether or not she'll sabotage it. Sorry if she feels upset about it. It'll be my decision to make. Hope she can get over it. Wedding photographer here. I assure you, here's how this will go down. In a few years, when your cousin's wedding is in the distant past, and when it becomes clear that you are seeing someone serious, she'll try to smooth things over. She'll likely say, I was just so stressed over planning the wedding, and I was a different person back then. Don't fall for it. She'll convince herself she never made a mistake, even if she apologizes for it. She'll do this because she's a selfish, self-centered person, and she doesn't want to risk being on the other end of the karma. If and when you get engaged, you can bet your ass she'll be your biggest cheerleader and tell you how excited she is for you, how she can't wait for the big day, etc. Don't fall for it. If and when you make it clear that she won't be in the wedding party, she will rationalize it and think to herself, maybe I deserve that. That's fair. If and when you make it clear she's not invited to the wedding, she will snap. She'll say you two smoothed that out a long time ago, even if you didn't. She'll downplay how serious it was. Oh, I was young, I was going through things. She'll say she never meant to offend you, and she wishes she could go back and change things. Don't fall for it. The moment it becomes clear that you are not going to budge, she'll turn on you faster than you can say, Au revoir, Felicia. She'll try to turn family against you. She'll make it sound like you're deliberately trying to hurt her and exclude her, and she was never doing anything intentional to you. She'll say what you did was way worse because you're supposed to be more mature. When none of those things work, she'll say she was right not to invite you, and say you're a terrible, no good, horrible human being. Pay attention to all of it, because you'll need receipts when the time comes to show turnabout is fair play. Screw people like her, selfish a-holes. The only thing I could think of is that your cousin spoke to your father, and due to that conversation, she felt differently about you. That could also include the fact that you don't really speak to your father. Maybe she feels some sort of way about it. It seems so weird she included him and not you. I would say that's where the issue lies, since that's the only standout thing beyond her excluding you. I would think this as well. But even my father told her that she didn't handle the situation well, and that's really saying something. Oh, you thought we were over, guys? No, I found another post by them. You'll love this one. Posted by the same user. Got engaged. Hi everyone, this is the daughter. For those of you who are interested enough after our AmiTheA posts to follow, a few of the people who commented on our update wanted to be updated when I was planning my own wedding. Now I am. I'm so excited to get married to my fiancé. If you have any more suggestions or insights for me, let me know. It's a weird time to be thinking about planning a wedding, but he and I are both really excited for the rest of our lives together. Head Bonk says, now the $1 million question. Does the cousin get invited? Hopefully she is. Definitely only a guest if she's invited at all. And have you mended the relationship at all? We have not mended the relationship at all. I've made it clear that I am willing to move on if she apologizes, but unfortunately she has not done that. At this point, I don't plan to invite her. I'm sorry to hear that she's being weird still. I assume it is because she has probably been told what an ass she was by multiple family members, and is too stubborn to apologize for her stupid decisions. Like a little kid that can't admit that they like this new food because they've already said they don't like it. Congratulations for the engagement. I wish you and your significant other all the happiness. I couldn't find it on the updates or the comments. Maybe I missed it, but did you ever learn why you were excluded this harshly and they thought you would sabotage the wedding if you were to attend? Thank you for the congratulations. We are very excited, and no, I never found out why she excluded me or said those things. To be honest, I'm not even sure that she's consciously aware of why she did it. Surely if there had been a real reason, it would have come out by now. At this point, I just feel kinda sad for her. That's all the relevant information I have. Everyone else is just giving OP well wishes, and I say more power to them. Congratulations on the wedding, OP. Alright, that's where I think I'm going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I really do hope you learned something or just really enjoyed the posts that were put up today. Quick shout out to all my new and existing Patreon and channel members. You should be able to see your name on screen right now, and if you don't, then I don't think you're part of the club, and you really should join the club because it's a great club. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for supporting me in this journey. It really means so much to me, and I love you all so much for it. Thank you for helping me out. As you can tell, I'm now happy and healthy back in Australia. Thank God it's not cold like Ireland. I don't like wearing jumpers everywhere. I prefer the heat. Thank you very much. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Anyway, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you later. Bye.